What's up guys, welcome back to another Kengan video. Today we're talking about some underrated Kengan Omega / Ashura fighters. If you enjoy these Kengan videos, make sure to subscribe and join the Discord to talk more about Kengan's greatness. Now I hope you enjoy. So the first underrated fighter I want to talk about today is Himuro, who has a Kengan win record, which is going into the reason why I believe he's underrated. 22 wins in Kengan wins and 0 Kengan losses, as his defeat to Canada was not an official Kengan match, so it doesn't go on his record. And as a whole, I don't think, if he was still the affiliated fighter during the Kengan Annihilation Tournament time span, I don't think he would have won against Gao Lang in the first round, but I think he would have done much better, and especially based on what he's been shown capable of throughout Omega, pretty much slapping around Ryuki quite easily, dealing with his techniques quite easily, and just being an absolute Chad monster in Omega compared to what he was in Ashura. We still haven't seen him fight all out to a death battle pretty much. Hopefully we get to see that sometime at Omega to truly gauge what his power is. But if you think about how he was defeated by Canada during the Annihilation Tournament, he kind of underestimated Canada fully. He had no idea this guy was capable of like his insane foresight and other abilities, so he wasn't really taking him seriously. And then before he even really got serious, his arm was snapped, meaning he couldn't fight anymore. So Canada, big brain energy for that, but still Himuro didn't get to show anything. And then later on, when the raid happened in Ashura, he was shown using nunchucks, fucking people up with ease. And then, as I said before, in Omega, this, flexing on Ryuki and Koga and all that. And his biggest flex that makes him underrated is his 0 Kengan losses and 22 wins. So, undefeated in Kengan, that's got to put some respect on his name, I think. So that's my first underrated fighter in Kengan Omega / Ashura that, needs more respect. Up next, we have our boy Robinson, who was defeated by Rain in the first round of the Annihilation Tournament. Did pretty well, forced Rain to use his, almighty 100% removal. His Kengan wins is 48 wins, one of the most wins in the series in 2 Kengan losses. His 2 Kengan losses going to Kuro Rain, as I just mentioned, first round of the Annihilation Tournament, and in Kengan Omega against Ryuto. But it's good to mention, over the 2 years, this was his first fight out of recovery, so he wasn't nowhere near at the level he was during the Annihilation Tournament, so he was weaker than that. And he was taken out about 50 to 60% difficulty by Ryuto. And apart from his solid win record, 48 wins, one of the most in Kengan. I've recently made a video, if you haven't checked it out, of the top 10 most wins in the Kenganverse, and of course our boy Robinson was on there. Now talk about his power and abilities, because I haven't actually made an official video on him. I'll make that probably in the coming weeks to see when I get around to it. But his power and abilities include a martial arts or technique known as Batsutu. Probably butchered that as well. It's a martial art that's in combination with classical Japanese martial arts, jiu-jitsu and bare knuckle boxing, founded by his own ancestor in the 19th century, and he's now considered the only surviving practitioner of this special martial arts. And then the techniques that he uses throughout the series is full shoulder throw, which is over the shoulder judo throw, and a 2-finger. And the ultimate secret technique of the martial art involves a 2-finger strike, but we weren't able to see the full effect of this strike as he was defeated or knocked out by Kuro Rain mid pretty much use of this technique, so he wasn't able to see the impact. It could be a highly impactful one-shot KO move, but we don't know, as he was defeated before he could get the move off. And up next for the next underrated character, probably the most underrated fighter that we have in the whole series, and that's our boy Okubo, the king of combat. You gotta respect him. Kengan with 0, Kengan losses 1. His one loss was against Kano Agito, where he forced him to go into his formless state. And as we know, Kano Agito has like 160 wins, only defeated by Kuroki Gensai in the whole of his span of fighting, and Okubo forced him to go into his formless state. From what we've seen throughout the series, the only character that we've shown to push him to formless state is a character in Omega by the name of Tokuno, who's fighting currently against Purgatory, Gao Lang, who pushed him to evolve multiple times. I believe Hatsumi-sen in the past, possibly Wakasuki, and not 100% confirmed to that. And of course the Beard, and that's the only pretty much people that we have confirmed to push our boy Kanagito to pretty much his ultimate crazy formless state. And our boy Okubo was able to do the same. And based on his thing being the king of combat master and becoming considered one of the best in the world, all these different martial arts and getting bored of it somewhat, then move on to the next one to become the best in the world. And then his fight against Kanagite, which I probably consider, many other people probably agree with me, as the most realistic grappling fight that we've had in the series thus far. I've considered that a pretty much valid point, so that's good to note. And that he did pretty well against him as well, which is pretty respectable. He did better than Hatsumi Sen did against him during the Annihilation tournament, but it's good to mention that he did evolve after that multiple times in the Gaolang fight and so and so. But as a whole, Okubo, very underrated. If you haven't seen my Okubo video, make sure to check that out. Now onto the next underrated character and the last one. So you may be wondering why here I'm talking about Kiryu Setsuna, the beautiful beast. So you may be thinking he's not underrated, he's respected, but one thing I want to get at is his techniques are kind of hacked somewhat, and if he didn't go against the Almighty Beard or Kuroki Gensai, better known as, he would have made it pretty far in the tournament and pretty much fucked up many other people, as Kuroki Gensai was aware of almost all of Setsuna's techniques, which pretty much let him at a disadvantage. And it's Kuroki Gensai, Almighty Beard. No one was going to beat him in the tournament. And if you think about it, who's going to stop the Rakushoshi's palm in blink combo and then being able to pull out the Nikko style technique? He was defeated by Oma later on outside of the tournament, but you have to remember he was absolutely delusional, seeing Yamashita as the Nikko and is absolutely going crazy, not thinking about anything. And if he was calm, collected, and pretty much focused on fighting, he could have been much better. And then more hacks with his Fallen Demon technique, being able to survive blows that are meant to one-shot you by Nikado, Ran, and this insane stuff. And as a whole, there's not many fighters, less than 5 I'll even argue to say, that could actually defeat Kiryu Setsuna in a calm fighting state going one-on-one. There's less than 5 in my opinion in the Kengan Ashura or Omega landscape that could actually defeat him in a one-on-one. My opinion, of course. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And there's some 4 underrated characters that I think need some more respect on their name from Kengan Ashura / Omega. If you agree with me, cool. If you don't agree with me, let me know what characters you think are underrated down in the comments, why you don't agree with me. I'd love to see what you have to say. Make sure to join my Discord to talk more about Kengan, subscribe, and stay tuned for my chapter 64 review later today. That's it, guys. Peace.